Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Well, hi, Brent. I'm Mary Bell. I'm the Market Center Administrator here. We're going to go ahead. It's straight up 2 o'clock.
Hi.
So we're going to get it started. So thank you, everybody, for being on the call. Thank you, Brent, for coming and sharing this immense value with us and sharing your story and best practices on how to grow a profit share tree. Just a little bit about you, of course, and I'm sure you're going to tell your story. You are one of the top profit share earners for Keller Williams. So we're super excited to hear everything that you have to say and hopefully inspire some other agents on this call to grow their passive income.
Absolutely. That's the goal. So I appreciate y'all having me. And I think we were trying to do something a while back. And my whole family ended up getting the coronavirus.
Oh,
so,
no.
Yeah. So it was like right when they reached out, I was like, I'm not really doing that good right now. It took about a full month to recover from the virus. My kids, obviously they were fine. They had runny noses for like a week, and my wife, she slept for like 3 days, and it hit me hard though. I ended up with pneumonia and up and down roller coaster stuff, but everything's back now. Trying to stay on the healthy side of things. But a little about me, I actually just had my 14th year anniversary with Keller Williams last Monday. And it's also my birthday too. So I actually signed up on my 31st birthday with Keller Williams. And it was kind of an interesting journey to discover this company, because living in Austin, I lived here in Austin for a decade before I ever got into the real estate business. I kind of doing my own things and trying to find my own path, find my own way to be successful and kind of build a legacy for myself and my future family. I ended up getting my real estate license in 2005. And of course, when I got my license, the very first place that I went and talked to were the big name brands that you've always heard of, the Remaxes, the Coldwell Bankers, the Century 21s, because they had been branding me my whole life. I remember sitting and watching, TV when I was at daycare, and even remembering seeing watching reruns of Gomer Pyle. I would see truck driving commercials and Century 21 commercials. And that's been branded in my mind since I was a small child. And so you go into these places and you think, oh, wow, this is going to give me, I'm going to be the agent. I'm going to be this top agent. I'm going to get all this support. I'm going to get this training, and I get the whole spiel. Hey, yeah, we'll hold your license. Now get out there. Good luck. I hope you make it. Or we have such a great business here. You're going to work for us and help build our business. So it was very much more of the dependent models. Right. So I was very discouraged of the fact that I was guaranteed absolutely nothing, set up for failure by running it myself, or being somebody's employee and having a job, not a career. So that was very frustrating to me to take the time to get a license, fail the test twice, finally pass it on my third time, to understand that I have a license that guarantees me absolutely nothing. So for about a year, I completely did other things. And as I'm driving around town, I'm looking around and I'm seeing all these red and white signs. I'm like, wow, this Keller Williams company, they sure do have a nice presence here. They must be a really strong local brand. Let me Google them and see what they're about. And, next thing you know, I'm on a website and I fill out a form, and next thing you know, I'm getting a call from a guy out of Atlanta, Georgia. And if anybody of y'all have kind of been involved in the profit sharing side of the business, there's an agent out there out of Atlanta, Georgia, named Kaufman, and Aaron is kind of like the godfather of I guess the recruiting. He was really kind of the first agent to really use the internet to go out and pluck people off the internet across the country, not just focus on his own market. And so this guy, I didn't know him from anybody, ultimately opened my eyes to a company that was 100% built for me and built for agents. And I was like, whoa, this is amazing. This is exactly what I've been looking for. I didn't even know it existed. I lived 2 miles away from the number one office in this entire company and had no clue who they were. Andrew Dice Clay. Oh, Andrew Dice. He is kind of the Andrew Dice Clay. I thought you were saying me. I'm like, what? Hold on. Yeah, and Aaron is kind of that guy. And so he really inspired me, got me in the office, and ultimately when I signed, I named him as my sponsor. Never thought anything else about profit share. My goal was to be God's greatest gift to real estate in Austin, Texas. Go out there and be the best that I can, because what I was looking for in a company was training and systems and support. I had no idea there was anything called culture in this industry. And so that's what I did. And I started going after it and going into trainings and working to try to be the best agent that I could. And along the way, they had lunch and learns in our office. And so I went to a lunch and learn with the famous Althea Osborne. And Althea basically sat up in front of this thing, and I went for the food. I didn't know what profit share was. They give away free food. I'm going for the food. And Althea starts talking about, I've recruited 13 people to Keller Williams in my career, and I'm making $500,000 a year in profit share. And I kind of stopped eating my pizza, and I kind of said, whoa, okay. Now I see why that guy in Atlanta really wanted to reach out to me and share this company with me, because not only can he help me make the best decision for my real estate business by getting me to a company that was going to provide me, the best training, the best systems, and the best support, he could also benefit from it. So that kind of ignited my fire to say, well, heck, I know 13 people. I can go out and I can be the next Althea Osborne, and I can go out and recruit 13 people, and maybe in a couple of years I'll be making $500,000. Obviously, it all depends on who you influence and who you bring into this company. Shortly after that, I really started looking to Aaron to say, hey, I'm looking to you generate leads. Can you provide me leads to focus on attracting people to this company? And so he did. And, he started giving me some, but not enough. So I realized around 2008 that I wanted to really focus on doing this myself. So I built my own website, and I started placing ads everywhere. Now, when you place ads on the internet, like if you go right now and you put an ad on Indeed or Simply Hired or ZipRecruiter or any of those places, get prepared to be bombarded, because you're going to get a ton of leads. Now, 85% of them are junk, just like in your real estate business, right? So you have to have a system in place. I remember when I first started doing this, I was talking to everybody because I thought everybody was a lottery ticket, and they are. But if people don't commit to getting their real estate license, they're not really worth your time. So I started developing systems that would allow me to use drip campaigns and email campaigns to capture these not enrolled leads, drive them to places where they could get their real estate license, and then focus on the people who were enrolled in school or people who are already licensed. Obviously, we want the licensed agents, the ones that are already licensed, ready to commit, but still there's a lot of process that you're going to have to go through in that realm as well. But at the end of the day, I realized this is the type of lead generation I wanted to do. I didn't want to go up and start calling top agents around my city. That wasn't my model. And that's kind of the important thing I want to share is there's no wrong way to go out there and generate leads. It's just like in your real estate business. If I told you that you had to go out and cold call people every single day to be successful in this business and it doesn't fit your personality, you might do it for a little bit, but eventually you're going to give up and say, you know what, I'm tired of getting 49 no's to get one yes. And that's kind of what I realized. I wanted people to come to me. So I figured if I could build a website that could attract people and inspire them to want to fill out that contact form, then all I have to do is qualify them, make sure that they're a licensed agent, make sure they're ready to go, qualify, and then inspire some interest in them. And that kind of brings us about to the conversation that you have with a recruit. Do you want to, you want to excite and refer. You don't want to recruit. You don't want to vomit Keller Williams all over these people. Ultimately, what I learned, and granted, I've done this consistently for about a decade. I took a couple years off in there because it just kind of wore me out. But I learned by learning to follow the model of Keller Williams, I learned that balance. And being able to qualify people in a better realm allowed me to start putting out numbers a little bit more consistently. And when you're qualifying people, ultimately you have to make sure that they're interested in building a real estate business. And you got to make sure that they want to be the ones that actually want to drive that ship. Because if it's just a bunch of agents that are kicking the tires or part-timers or, people that are wanting just to buy their own investment property, then chances are we're not going to be the best place for them. So the needs analysis ultimately has to be what's most important to the agent, the recruit. Are they looking for a teaching, training, consulting company? 99% of them are. Because you and I know you don't learn anything in real estate school. You learn how to pass a test. And so ultimately, my route was to go after the new agents. Yeah, I could have gone after and recruited and started calling half cappers and quarter cappers, but that didn't fit my personality. So I found my niche on the internet to go out and attract those. Now, for you, maybe that is your knack. Maybe you are that cold caller. Maybe you are that door knocker. Somebody that's going to be on the offensive and go out there and reach out to people and say, hey, you know what? I really love this company. I want to share it with you. That's got to be, if that's your strategy, that's what you have to do. Because what I've learned the most is consistency is the key, and no matter what we're doing, right? It's, there's a quote that Gary Keller says, my persistence disguises my stupidity. And I think that's true, because the more you keep pushing forward and keep failing forward, and that's another thing I'm teaching my boys, keep failing. The people who succeed the most are the ones that fail the most. I've been fortunate enough to sponsor about 1,500 agents to this company, but I had to sponsor like 3 times the amount of those to get to that number. Or I had to talk to that many people to get to that number. Now that number has dwindled. I'm at like 362 agents on my first level now, which is amazing. But you have to realize I had to fail multiple times to get to that point where I could have that building up. So persistence and consistency are the keys to what I think is going to be beneficial in helping you find your niche. Now, I'm not really a coach or a teacher. I don't do very many of these calls. So if I'm starting to ramble, or I'm starting to get to a point where you have some questions, please ask me. Because that's going to be probably the best way to engage me to find out what I can share with you through my experiences that has been best for me. At the end of the day, providing value to numerous people and building it as a system is where I've been able to have success. I mean, my goal is to have anywhere between 10 to 15 recruiting appointments every single week. Now, those are people who are qualified, licensed, and who do not know anybody at Keller Williams until I get them on the phone. Because a lot of times what you're going to run into, if you start recruiting if you start going after a bunch of experienced agents, it's going to take a little bit longer to recruit them. And a lot of them are already going to have relationships with other agents. So where I kind of built a fail-proof type system is by saying, I want to provide value to associates that actually do not have relationships with anybody at this company. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to be competing with anybody for sponsorship. And it happens on numerous occasions where agents are all recruiting the same person. Next thing you know, they're sitting in that sponsorship table and everybody thinks they should be the sponsor. And you could have put in 6 months to a year of your time in doing so. And now you're sitting there and you lost out on that. So what I find is the best way to do it is to vet the people that you're talking to, just like you're going to vet a buyer or you're going to vet a seller to make sure that they're, the right person to work with, that's the perfect opportunity for you at the time. So ultimately, what I really want to focus on is when I get somebody on the phone, because all my calls are via telephone. They're not, this is the most dressed up as I've gotten in about, a couple months. So just putting a shirt on. So thank you for allowing me that. But ideally, when you're talking to a recruit, ultimately you do the needs analysis to find out what's most important to them. 99% are going to pick training. So then it's down to, well, is this a career change for you? What have you been doing? And by golly, this pandemic, as horrible as it is opening up a lot of doors. There is a huge talent pool out there right now of people who've always wanted to do real estate, but never had the opportunity because they had another job that was supporting them. Well, guess what? A lot of them now, they don't. And so they've taken that jump, they've taken that leap. So you have to look around your city. You have to look around the people you work with, the people that you've known for your whole life, because these people who may be losing their jobs and wanting to take control and have unlimited earning potential and have the ability to set their own schedule and be the entrepreneur, they're probably going to come to this industry, because this is the recession-proof type industry where you can have success no matter what the market brings. Recession, depression, boom, pandemic. That's what we're doing. And that's why our company is most ideal, because we adapt and change our systems and our models to match the market of the moment and provide value, not only to help our agents run their businesses most profitably and efficiently, but also to provide a better user experience for the consumer through the technology. So it comes down mostly to these people that are actually out there looking for careers. They're probably going to be looking on job boards. If you're looking to attract people to this company, you've got to go straight to the trough. And they're all going to be going on job boards like Monster and Career Builder and ZipRecruiter and LinkedIn and Glassdoor, even Craigslist. Heck, I was a Craigslist ad before they even charged. And I think I was kind of a good lottery ticket for Aaron Kaufman to hit, because this is kind of what I've enjoyed doing for the last decade. And I'm growing our tree pretty significantly. So you have to look at every person that you're conversing with about this company as a potential lottery ticket to building a lifetime of passive income. So my job is basically just to excite and refer people to this company. I'm not shoving Keller Williams down their throat. I want to find out what's most important to them. I want to find out what they're looking to do, even if we're not even the right place for them. Because at the end of the day, we're not the best place for everybody to go out and build a real estate business. And I always encourage every agent that I talk to go and talk to every other brokerage model out there, because that's what we want them to find. You want them to find what's best for them and their business and their family. If it's not with Keller Williams, that's fine. But if it is, then guess what? You've got a support of a great staff around you. You have great people to support you and help you run a business. So you're not out there reinventing the wheel. All they have to do is come in and plug into a model that says if they do A, B, and C, they get D. Now I digress. I'm kind of going in all different directions, but when I go out and I put an ad on the internet, I'm looking to attract all types of people. There's three types. You've got not enrolled people who haven't even begun the process to get their license. You have enrolled people who are in school, people who've made that commitment to get their real estate license, but they're still in that process. And of course, you have the licensed people as well. Those are the people who are ready to go. Those are the people you want to get on the phone. Those are the people that you want to talk to immediately. I use a couple different ways to kind of vet these associates when they get to the point where I actually want to sit down and talk to them on the phone. And one of those is a scheduler. I use a scheduler called Acuity. A lot of people use Calendly or a couple other scheduling tools. I simply put the times that I'm available and set that up and send out a link. Now, before they even get to that link, I've created a little bot that I put on my website that I drive people to. And, just as we have Kelly, which I don't know, is Kelly still going to be around, or are we getting rid of Kelly? I'm in the dark on that. Is Kelly going away? Nobody?
Not that I know of.
Not that you know of. So ultimately, I think we have Kelly at Keller Williams. So I created a little bot called Willie. So Willie is my guy to be able to qualify agents that have actually filled out a form on a website that say they're licensed. And ultimately, I want to eliminate people who, one, don't have their license, two, aren't current on their continued education, because I want to talk to people right now. Three, I don't want to chat with anybody that already knows somebody within our organization, because that means I'm probably not going to get the sponsorship. So I don't want to waste my time. As much as I'd love to share this with everybody, I just have to put it into my 20% to focus on the agents that actually don't have relationships. And three, they got to be full-time. I mean, this model is built for a full-time associate. And if they're coming in trying to do an 8 to 5 and sell real estate on the weekend, can they have success? Possibly. But if 85% of brand new agents are out of this business within 2 years, and those are the people going after it in a full-time manner, hopefully, what's the probability of somebody having success going at it in a part-time? I don't see it as very consistent. And that's where you might add somebody to your tree that might be a part-time agent. If they can transition and they can focus on following the model, then by all means, go for it. But then when you get them on the phone and you chat with them, ultimately you want to ask them all those qualifying questions again. Do you know anybody at Keller Williams? Is this a career change for you? Do you have your real estate license? And then ultimately get into what's most important to them, which is being a part of a company that's actually going to support you and provide you the tools, the resources, the strategies, and the empowerment to be as successful as you want. And, I always kind of use some scripts that are pretty consistent. I mean, this whole recruiting call is a big script. And ultimately, I tell people we're not in the real estate business at Keller Williams. We're in the real estate career business, because that's our job, is to help you build your career. Now, I think they're making some changes where we might intertwine the independent and the dependent model. That's not there yet, but I think that's going to open the door to a lot more agents who can come in and get leads generated for them, which is going to open the talent pool up even more to finding agents that are a fit for this company. But then the recruiting consultation is only half the battle, because now you've got to focus on trying to get these agents into the office to meet with the local leadership. So what I do with every recruit that I talk to, after I go through the consultation of explaining to them why we're the best place that I think they should build their business, because we have the best training, because we have the culture of agents helping agents, and our structure is built around, putting your priorities in the order of God, family, then your business. And of course, our tech platform that's actually changing this industry as a whole, and how we're keeping the agent as the fiduciary in this business. Next, I want to make sure that they're going to be, that they want to meet. Honestly, I think in thousands of calls that I've done, I might only have maybe a handful of people that say, no, I'm going to think about it. So my job is to get them into the office. So now I'm going to get off the phone with the recruit, and I'm going to say, hey, ultimately, when you join this company, and if you do, they're going to ask you to name an agent that refers you, because that's how we've grown this company to be the largest brokerage in the world, is through the voice of our associates. So when I joined, I named this random guy out of Atlanta, Georgia, because he opened my eyes to this company. And at the end of the day, it changed my life. So when you join, I would be honored if you remember to list me as your sponsor, because this is how I get rewarded for growing this company. And it's been a very successful script. It's taken years just to get that script out, to make it actually be more consistent and working. So if you take anything from that, anything from this call, know that my scripts are always tried and tested, and I'm always trying to revise them to make them current and try to get better percentages out of those. So that one seems to have about a 98% conversion rate of getting sponsorship. Because ultimately sometimes you're going to run into an agent that, doesn't tell you up front that they have a relationship with anybody at this company. And then they go, oh yeah, by the way, I named my mom as my sponsor. I'm like, well, why are you talking to me? It happens. So, but then when you get off the phone and you've talked to these people, your next job is to get them in touch with the local office. So I'm not just going to email the team leader. I'm going to make sure that I'm reaching out to the right person. A lot of these big offices, the team leader handles market center appointments. They don't handle newbies. So if you have a great market center appointment, definitely put them in touch with your team leader. Definitely get them in set up to speak with her to provide that market center appointment so that you can have a better opportunity of closing it. For the newer agents, they probably go to an assistant team leader or a productivity coach. Every office is different. And that's kind of the thing that we're trying to work through, I guess, the Profit Share Task Force, which is really to try to systematize this process so it's easier for associates to actually get out there and refer people and not have them slip through the cracks, because it happens. I mean, you get the good, the bad, the ugly, no matter what you're doing. And the human element is part of this business. And so ultimately, I want to reach out and find out the right person I'm talking to, give them information about the recruit, let them know that they're excited to meet, and I give them the contact information. Now, I also text, I'll Facebook, I'll do everything I can to make sure I get a response back from that leadership. And then I wait. And then I wait for the team leader to respond. I also reach out to the recruit to make sure they're being taken care of. What do they say? The fortune is in the follow-up. And with recruiting agents to this company, the biggest part you're going to deal with is getting in touch with the local office, having them make contact, and then following up after the appointment to make sure that everybody is on board, what the recruit thought, providing value as best as you can. And of course, when they do decide to join, you want to make sure that you're still in that conversation for sponsorship. So if a recruit responds to me via email and says that they're signing up, I say, great. Guess what? I'm so happy to have you part of this KW family. I'll even send them a copy of the Gary Keller book Shift, which is in a PDF form that you can actually give them to her for free. And I say, P.S., when you fill out your sponsorship paperwork, I would be honored if you remember to list me. And I touch on that multiple times. I want to vet people the best I can to have the best opportunity to close that sponsorship. Now, what are most of y'all doing are you using the internet, or do you want to be the agent that goes after experienced agents and calling half cappers in your local market center? Which, somebody speak up and tell me what y'all are thinking about doing, or where you're most likely to find your niche in attracting people to this company. That's not very good.
Hey, Brent, I've kind of been following your model and Aaron Kaufman's model, and I really hit it hard about four years ago after going to one of Aaron's classes.
Okay, cool.
A combination of a website and a Facebook page, and I've done Facebook ads. I've also done Facebook jobs on my Facebook pages. And at one point I was up to, I think, 17 agents, but I'm back down to 3 now because I kind of took my eye off the ball.
Yeah.
So I'm actually working on rebuilding that. As a matter of fact, I was working on the website last night. So.
And you know what? You can generate leads off of one page website.
Yep.
You don't have to go out there and create this elaborate, enormous site. It's been beneficial to me because I can generate a lot of organic traffic as well and provide value through blog posts and I take the videos from Keller Williams. I mean, everything that I'm doing is basically what we all have access to. We all have access to the same information. We have the same YouTube videos that I'll write an article about. I'll look at KW Connect and I'll look at a great article that's written by somebody at Keller Williams International talking about, the training, or they interview a top agent. Well, instead of just plagiarizing it and copying and put it on my website, I'll just go through it and I'll read the article. I'll rewrite it, put a video, put some links up there, and set it out to social media to try to get people attracted to it. And so then, of course, as you start growing and building that, it can develop into some good organic traffic. But I would have to say that the best place that you're going to find leads is unfortunately now you got to pay for it, unless you're going to the real estate schools, unless you're looking at the list on the Texas Association of Realtors or the TREC website, where basically they have a list of people who've qualified for their exam. That's one way to hit local people. You can search by zip code. You can narrow people down to who's in your Katy zip code, who's in a 10-mile radius of 77450. You can focus on finding new licensees in that realm, because not everybody is going to the job boards. I mean, think about it. 60,000 people join this company every single year. And I'm the number one guy, and I only recruit about 160. That's a credible amount of people that are joining this company. There's so many different realms out there where we can find these people. Job boards is my niche because I know that's where people are going to be. But you also got to look at the real estate schools. You've got to look at possibly getting into. Do y'all have a real estate school in your local market center?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So are y'all getting
only 160 this year?
Well, my best ever was. Honestly, this is my best production year. Not profit share wise. It's been the pandemic kind of knocked that down, but obviously it's bounced back up. I've had my best September. Just the other day, I did $17,500 for the month of September. And that was a true blessing, going from a month of June where I normally make over 20 to have it be around 5. Yeah. So it's bouncing back. And I think we're seeing a rebound of almost like the same kind of rebound that you saw with the Great Recession, except with this market, the market's amazing. You're just having to change and pivot yourself to find the people who are too scared to leave their home. So the real estate market's great. And I think our trajectory of growth is great too, because another script you can share with people is that we're the only franchise growing in this pandemic. Those are great accolades to share. The number one workplace for women in the U.S., the number one workplace for graduates, happiest place in America to work, largest brokerage in the world. Say those without, vomiting all over them, Keller Williams, but at the same time, be proud of that, because these are great accolades that we can share with people. And you drive the success. Yeah, that's me.
Oh, that's your website? Okay.
It's a nice website. Yeah.
I actually have just redesigned it. I thank you so much. I've redesigned it, but that's besides the point. The most important thing is if you I put up one-page websites and just basically contact form. I put a homepage and I put a contact form and I just drive people to it. And I test it all the time to try to find different ways to attract people to my forum, because it's just like generating leads online on Facebook for your real estate business. I mean, the percentages are probably about the same. You're dealing with 85% junk, 10% maybes, and maybe about 5% that are actually ready to go. And so you kind of liken that thing to the same thing for recruiting agents. I mean, where are agents hanging out? Where are future agents hanging out? A lot of them are on LinkedIn. I've struggled trying to find those. That's like the best place that the best qualified candidates have come through a LinkedIn profile. But I can't figure out how to target these people who are transitioning a job. Every once in a while, I'll see a recruit that I generated from a job board, and I'll look at their LinkedIn page. I'll look them up on LinkedIn, and they'll say, looking for new opportunities. And I'm like, oh, God, I wish I would have found that one sooner, because, how many other ones are out there that are like that? So a one-page website on a job board, on Indeed, or on one of these ZipRecruiters or Craigslist. I mean, if you invest, $1,000 a year, let's just say it was $1,000 a year on Craigslist ads in your market center, in your area, and you qualified and you vetted and you got one recruit that turned out to potentially become a capper or a half capper, you're going to make that money 3 times. So it's an investment in the future. It's taken me a decade to actually make decent money doing this. But the whole process is I've been focusing on the people who are normally not going to stick in this business. So it becomes, I can see how you had 17 or 18 people and dropped to a bunch of them. I did the same thing. My first year, I recruited 14 agents. Those are the leads that Aaron provided me. At the end of that year, I had 2 left. And I'm going, I can't rely on Aaron Kaufman to send me leads anymore. I said, Aaron, send me more leads. He's like, no, I've already got somebody that's doing a better job than you. I'm like, okay. All right. So what I did is I said, I'm going to go out and I'm going to be your competition. And that was kind of how it started. I went out and started basically saying, you're not the only one that can go out there and recruit agents off the internet. And I went out and started developing the systems to actually do it. Now, Aaron's the coach. If you want coaching on that stuff, he's the guy, because he's the guy that's going to give you that coaching mentality. I don't really see myself as a coach. I see myself more as a systems guy. I can provide better value to try to make your life more efficient and helping you to deal with all the mess that's going around and focus on the ones that are actually most important. And if Command can get itself together for recruiting, I think we're only about 90 days away before I think a team leader can actually tag an agent as across the whole system to be able to tag a recruit to a referral agent. When that happens, we can start plugging into Command, sharing smart plans that are going to be more beneficial. I think it'll make it a lot easier and a lot more transparent for us to grow this company without sitting there dealing with, did they call the recruit? Is the recruit not interested anymore? Am I going to get sponsorship? The hardest part of this business is not the recruiting consultation. It's the follow-up and making sure that everything comes to fruition after you get the agent in the office. Now, in your office, I mean, you're a top 100 office in the world. You've got a very well-oiled machine. Sometimes you deal with offices across this country that maybe don't have everything in place the way they should. So it's nice to have an office such as yours to send leads to, where agents and leadership and ownership are very well versed together and providing a better value system for the agents to send somebody into. That's huge, to have great leadership that's actually going out on your behalf and helping you close the deal. And that's what I look at leadership as. I'm serving you a nice, warm recruit on a plate, ready to go, doesn't know anybody, is ready to give a full-time effort into building this business. I'm done. Your job is to get them into the office, help support the agent referral as the referral source. And then once they are on board, Keller Williams takes over. The training takes over. The systems take over. And of course, you can lead a horse to water. You can't always make them drink. So the same thing happens when you're talking to recruits. They're not all going to go there and stick. It's just not going to happen. So when you're going out there and you're recruiting 17, you have 17 agents in your tree, keep hitting it hard, because you're going to have attrition. And I'm doing the same thing. I think I was stuck at the same amount of first level agents for about 18 months. And, I was adding 150 agents a year to my tree on my first level, and my number didn't budge. So it's more of a consistency game. And if you're getting out there and you're hitting all the different locations of where you can find people, whether it's the job boards, whether it's I think somebody did a chat question about a B&I group. Those are great places to build networking opportunities, and also, as much as you want to continue to grow your own office, don't limit yourself to just one place. This world is full of agents that want to have a career in this industry. And if you have a very well-branded site that is not city specific, and you can attract those leads, you can place them all over the country. Now, obviously, your first thing would be awesome to drive them to your Katy office, because that's going to give you an opportunity to be side by side with somebody that you could also help mentor. Now, you're not required to, but why wouldn't you? Especially if they're in your office. A goal that I have, and I don't know if it's even possible, or I wouldn't even know how to do it, but ultimately, if I ever get off these phones, which my goal is, if I can make $200,000 a year on my first level, and they have the breakdown of your profit share based on your levels. I mean, I make 90% of my money on my first level. So I haven't even gotten to the big part yet, hopefully where it turns into Althea and McKissick money. But if I can make $200,000 on my first level, that'll allow me, I guess, a comfort level to be able to support my family and focus on the agents that are already in my tree. They always say, help the agents in your tree to go out and be successful in business, help them recruit. Well, what if you could go out there and you could recruit somebody to this company, and then you could start providing them better leads? You could provide them business that could help them solidify themselves in this industry and realize this really isn't that hard of a business. It's just more of a system. Meet people, stay in touch, offer value and time. That's all it is. And so eventually that would kind of be the goal that I would want to achieve, was to be able to help all the agents that are in my tree generate business so they could close deals, they could make profit, and there's profit sharing. So you can double, triple dip there. Now, if somebody has some ideas on how to do that, I'm all ears. I think that's like an expansion team or something like that. But imagine an expansion team that it's 100% virtual, where you have no vested, I don't know. Sorry, I'm rambling now. Does anybody have any questions? Am I providing any value here? I don't even know if I'm providing any value to help motivate you to want to go out and do this, because so if any question,
really good information. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I've like I said, I'm more of a behind the scenes guy versus being on a Zoom call looking into a camera. No, it's awkward, but you're doing fantastic. There's a lot of good information. I do have a question for you, actually. I mean, it's not about the profit sharing, because you made everything really clear about that. It's a little bit more about, the last thing you mentioned, which was providing the service and, expanding your agent's knowledge and all of this. How do you organize yourself when you start getting, multiple people in your database, when you start referring agents, and when you start getting really busy in the business? Like, how do you personally, how did you prioritize everything to make sure that it was organized? Yeah, you know what? And I sometimes still struggle with it as well. To try to keep myself in a very balanced area. But ideally, it's just like trying to build a 7th level business with a real estate career, with buying and selling homes. You're going to leverage the people in your tree. I have several agents that I've recruited, first level agents that I've recruited over the years, that have reached out to me to share that they're interested in wanting to do this. One of them, her name is Lee Broman. She's in Virginia, and she actually handles every single one of my enrolled leads. So I basically kind of took that off my plate. I found myself getting overwhelmed with responding to emails about, the salary that a real estate agent gets. All the questions that you really don't want to, all the questions you really don't want to answer. And she's very nurturing. She loves to do that. She loves to be involved to the process and do that. So I found somebody in my tree that was really, really wanting to be that person. She's almost like a mother to these recruits that are coming in. She answers questions, and I've even caught her a couple times filling up her schedule, talking to people who don't have their license, and I'm like, stop it! Don't do that, because you're she does, but at the same time, I generate so many leads that I can't get to all of them, or they're in a market center that I don't want to deal with. So I'll send those off to her. And if I look at her schedule and she's booked out for 4 days, I'm like, well, heck, what am I going to do with it? So I have a couple other agents that I start introducing to this. So at the end of the day, my whole goal is to teach my agents in my tree how to do that. But I think, and I don't know exactly the quote, but it was I think it was a Michael Jordan or something. And somebody wanted to learn about investing their money. And he said, I didn't think you would ever help me. And he goes, well, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And I guess it comes down to, you've got to ask for it. And so agents in my tree, I do anything for them because I want to see them succeed. I want to see them grow, because their success is my success. But out of all the ones out there doing it, very few reach out. And, I even tried at one point to reach out to my whole tree and talk to them on a monthly basis. And I'd get calls from like one or two. So I kind of realized, and I even tried generating leads for them. Hey, I'm going to go out and I'm going to spend money to generate leads for you so that I could take a 25% referral fee. And then you get business, I get a referral fee. It keeps it moving forward. And what I found is they've got to want it more than you do.
Absolutely. And that's a really good point, if you don't mind me interrupting, because
No, please.
As a new agent, I realized that it can get very discouraging. So if you don't have a solid support system, I mean, Keller Williams, I don't know about other offices. I'm sure they're well equipped as well. But I mean, we have a great support system. We have a lot of training and things like that. But even with that, it can still be very discouraging because it's so new and everything's up to you. Usually people come from structured environments. So I
right,
feel
and I
that,
think, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so having somebody like to help you, talk to these people, I think that's key.
And as an agent that sponsors a bunch of people, I would do it in a heartbeat. It's just, but at the same time, you should be getting everything you need. And I think that's where the training and the systems and the whole model comes in, because, you help them find their niche, whatever it is, whatever type of lead generation that they can do consistently, do it. Mine turned out to be online lead generation. I'm not the best at it. I just keep doing it because I don't think I wasn't that good of an agent. I was like a half capper. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to go out and talk to a bunch of experienced agents and tell them why they should join Keller Williams because I don't have any credibility. But that's a limiting belief on my side.
For sure.
It's 100% a limiting belief on my side. And they're like, get out of your comfort zone, Brent. Well, no, I kind of like my comfort zone. I like hanging out right here. I kind of like it. I don't want to push any farther. I think I'm doing okay. I've got a great work-life balance, which is what I think was most valuable that this company brought me. But one of the things I always discuss with people is about their work-life balance. I mean, that's something that it really solidified me with Keller Williams, was the fact that this company cares more about people than they do profits. And that's shown by the fact of how they want you to run your business. And, my first job out of college was this sounds like the best job ever. I was a wine rep for Ernest and Julio Gallo Winery, largest winery in the world. Sounds very sexy. Sounds like a great job. It's the first year I didn't go home for the holidays. It's the first year I didn't see my family for any of them, Thanksgiving or Christmas, because guess what? That's when people drink the most wine, is during the holidays. So we have to have you here. They didn't care about me. They didn't care about my balance of life. They didn't care about my health. They didn't care about, all they cared about was how many bottles of wine I sold. And that was kind of my first and last taste of corporate America. Looking at companies that were so focused on themselves that they weren't focused on their people. And from that point on, I spent the next, 7 years trying to find my own thing, trying to find something where I could actually go out and build something where I could be in 100% control of my life. And the one thing I could never find was balance. I would always just put my nose down and go as hard as I could, and what would fail? Either my relationships, because I wasn't there, my health, because I wasn't taking care of myself, or my spirituality, because I was just kind of burning myself up, burning the candle at both ends. And when I drove the last business I had, I was in the furniture business, and ultimately what I ended up not having was support to show me how to adjust and adapt my business to the current trends of the market. And boy, I drove that business into the ground just as good as anybody could. And I said, if I'm ever going to do something entrepreneurial again, I want to have a backing and support of a company that's going to help me, whether that's in a franchise of, opening up something where it's a proven model, or it's real estate. And that's my story of, like, I was so frustrated that no other company was willing to provide that. There was no real what's good for the agent. It's like, what's good for the company. And that discouraged me to no end. So when I finally found this company and realized that I could have support and a company that was going to help me adapt to every condition, it was going to teach me not only how to build a business, but actually how to have a whole life approach to living my life, that's when I got on board. And that's what I think you have to bring to the table when you're talking to people. You have to bring a little bit of that passion of what this company's done for you. And when people feel that and people see that, I think it brings forth a credibility of what can happen. And I feel it's my duty to go out and share with as many people as I can. Yeah. Can I benefit from it? Yeah, I can. And hopefully it continues to pay me for the rest of my life and my kids' life. That's the goal. But at the same time, it's very rewarding to help people make a decision that's going to change their life for the better. And so I'm starting to see financial rewards, but up until this point, it's all been based on faith because I've believed in this company. And I think where we're headed and where we're going as far as the technology and providing more value to the associates and providing more value to the consumer. I mean, why would somebody not want to be here if they're going to be left in the dust when the tech industry completely annihilates the use of agents in their plans? Zillow's trying to eliminate us from the equation by using all this AI and machine learning. And hey, consumer, you don't need to use an agent. Well, does everybody use the self-checkout in the grocery store? No, I don't. It'll take me longer to go through 5 items to the self-checkout than to do a whole basket full with some kid back there that just doot, 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 doot. So, and you don't get a discount either when you go through the self-checkout. So technology is here to help us, and we're the only company that's actually providing that value to the associate and the consumer and keeping the agent as the fiduciary in the middle of this transaction. And if you portray that to your experienced agents at other companies, and they start seeing the writing on the wall of what's happening, and is their company doing anything to help them? Probably not. One, because they're broker centric, and two, they're probably in a lot of debt. You know, I mean, Zillow's been valued at, last time I checked, $8 billion. That's a great valuation. But guess what? They've never, ever, ever made a profit. That's just projections from things like stock exchange and all that stuff. I don't get it. I don't see how these companies can do that. So when we have a 100% debt-free company that is spending $1 billion on creating a tech platform that's actually going to help you be better in your business and provide more value to your consumer, and guess what? There's no better place, because I'm not loyal to Keller Williams. I'm loyal to my quality of life. And as long as they continue to keep providing the best ways for me to be successful, the best ways for me to adapt to a crazy pandemic, to a changing market, to technology, to cultural differences, hey, this place, I'm going to keep calling it home. And I think it's by far the best place to run a business. And if you want to help share that with other people too, then all you got to do is put a couple ads on the internet, and who knows, maybe you start out talking to everybody. That's what I did. I had to discover what was best for me. You might discover you want to talk to those people who don't have their license. You help them get their license. You guide them through school. You nurture them. And then get them to a company that's actually going to give them the best opportunity for success. Because we're the only company that cares about the associate. So that's kind of what I do every day. I just kind of say those things. Hey, this is what we do. This is why we do it. And, you know, I want to keep my life in priorities of God, family, business. And this company helps me keep doing that, because I don't have to be the smartest guy in the room. All I have to do is keep modeling my behavior after these other top agents all around this country that are willing to share what they do. That's why our culture is so amazing. That's why we can keep growing and be the only company doing it in a market that's spitting up and chewing people out, or chewing up and spitting out. Sorry. People on a regular basis within a couple of years. So any questions that I might be able to answer that I didn't touch on? I can keep going too. More. Yeah. I'm pumped. If you want to go over, I'll go over. I don't care. I'm loving this. I want to keep doing it. So
good. I'm glad you found your passion. That's important. Do you think that everything you're saying is a good pathway how to start a team as well? Maybe you spoke about it earlier, but.
Well, as far as building a team for real estate or building a team for recruiting?
For Keller Williams, like, you know, building your own.
You know what? That's another great idea. If you've got a great business already, and see, I haven't gone down this path yet, but if you look at some of the job boards, you see a lot of people on there that are looking to hire buyer's agents. They're looking to hire listing specialists. Well, why can't that be you? Even if you're not hiring for somebody, what if they're, you could still reach out and try to find experienced agents that are actually wanting to be a part of a team. And now that we're introducing this dependent model and agents that want to join teams, it may be a great opportunity just to put your feelers out and find people that are actually, wanting to be in the real estate business, but yet not really ready yet to be interdependent, I guess you could say, or be independent and growing their own. So by all means, I think, using your recruiting abilities to attract people to your own team is a great idea. It's just trying to find those right fits, because you've got to obviously follow the KPA. You've got to look at the personality profile to make sure you're hiring the right person for the job. But at the same time, if they're not the right person for you, doesn't mean you can't refer them off to another team or to the office to join as an individual agent.
Okay.
Now I take that back. I take that back a little bit, because, and I don't like this part about it, because if you recruit somebody to a team and they join a team, you get absolutely nothing as far as profit share goes.
Got it.
They're on a team, but all that production is being done through the team lead of that team. So, I mean, I'm happy people find their spot on a team, but it very selfishly speaking, doesn't benefit the person recruiting them.
Yeah. So it's like working for free as a recruiter.
Well, yeah, it's kind of what you're doing. And I even heard some people talking about, maybe you say, hey, if I find somebody for your team, that's a fit for your team, you pay me $2,500. If you get a great buyer, if you can help somebody find a great buyer's agent for their team, why wouldn't they pay you to help grow their business? If you could bring the talent to the table. So I've looked into that. I've never really done it, but I mean, these are all just kind of brainstorming ideas that come through my head, to try to say, hey,
it's just other things, like other things within the business that we can, your whole presentation is about that, expanding.
Right.
Hey, Brent, there's one comment on the team, recruiting to a team though. Lots of times they go solo, and they join the team, they're not happy, and then they go solo. So that's
a good thing, and that's why I don't object. I'm a little bummed because they join these great teams and they have these great careers, and I'm watching them on Facebook, and I'm like, yeah, they sold another one. Oh wait, I don't get any of that. but eventually, I think you're right, and these agents will branch off and say, you know what, I want to build my own team. So, at the end of the day, it comes out to being a possibility that you'll still benefit from it. But, I guess you've got different reasons for doing it. Some are financial, some are philanthropic. You want to be one that's helping, others to be successful and maybe contribute to them providing more value to the world. I mean, those are the things that kind of inspire me to want to go out and try to talk to as many people as I can and keep going 100%. So who's going to go out and put an ad on the internet right now? Anybody? I bet you only one of you will do it.
I'm considering it.
I will when the website's done.
Okay.
I'm not too far off. It's a rewrite, not a ground up build. But hey, Brent, I wanted to mention something. When I first started working on this, my very first recruit, and guys, you'll get a kick out of this. My very first recruit through the website was a guy out of South Carolina. I have no idea how he found me. He Googled Keller Williams and found me that way. But what was really cool was he and his father both were getting into real estate, and they're both under me.
Perfect.
So I had the father sign up under the son, and the son signed up under me. Yeah,
they stack them like that. So now you've got a first and a second level, just like that.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. I'm like, I have no idea how you found me, but I'm happy you did.
And you know what? That's kind of it. It's almost like you just put it out there, and if you keep knocking on a bunch of doors, somebody's going to open it, and then they're going to be standing there waiting for you to enlighten them on why they need to go to Keller Williams. I mean, most agents say I heard about Keller Williams. Tell me more. And that's what excites me, because that was me. I was a guy that lived in the founding city of Keller Williams and had no clue what they stood for. So it's our job to excite the agents and the recruits to say, hey, definitely go look at other models by all means. But if you're really looking to run a business, You're looking to be learning based. You're looking for a great tech platform that's actually going to be future proof and is going to be investing in you. And you want a culture of agents helping agents. There's nothing better than Keller Williams. And that's kind of what I guess I preach every day is definitely look around, because I'm not here to sell Keller Williams. I'm here to share the benefits of our company. And if we're the right fit, then it's a match, but it's got to be a right fit for everybody. If an agent can go and find, and I think that says a lot to a recruit, because a lot of times you get these recruits on the phone and they've talked to like 3 or 4 brokerages and they're talking to Keller Williams now, and they get there and they say, yeah, they told me not to talk to you. They told us not, they said, why don't you just come and sign with us? We'll take good care of you. And that's kind of, and if that was me on the other end of the line, of course I would be kind of like hesitant. So when you come from a whole mindset of contribution to say, yeah, no, you're sold on Keller Williams, please go look at other companies. Please look at everybody, because that's the only way you're going to know where the right place to be is. And so when you basically say, hey, it's almost like dangling the carrot and then pulling it back. It's like, hey, this is what we offer, but you know what? You find what's best for you. And I think that plays well to show agents and recruits that you actually care more about their well-being than you do about them joining Keller Williams and naming you as a sponsor. That's the byproduct of what we do. If an agent can go and join a dependent real estate model and have a job that's going to keep them happy and it's going to fulfill their life, by all means do it. Or if they're in the 0.5% that can go out there and run a business and create it out of thin air and be successful, hey, go to a 100% company. You don't need us. But for the majority of us, you need that support. You need that training. You need that mentoring and that guidance. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to be the right place, even though you don't say it right up front. So, anybody have any question?
I can share why it's important to me to learn how to do this right, to learn how to bring the right people on board. Follows right along with my big why, because I named my daughter as my sponsor. And if I can just bring in some people to stack on top of my name, then my grandkids are going to have more money.
Absolutely.
You see, it's all about passing that down. And so I got to figure out how to do this the right way and bring in some talent.
You know what? And it's all about maximizing your time. It's like when I get on to Lee and my tree for booking times to talk with people who aren't even licensed yet, it's not because I don't want her to nurture those people, but I want her to have more opportunities to talk to people on a regular basis. Because if you're booking your time and all your time is gobbled up by people who aren't going to be beneficial to get into this company right away, then I think you need to focus on the ones that can be. So honestly, the best productivity that I've been able to do is by using the scheduler to set up a time based on my schedule. I'm not calling and emailing and going back and forth with agents all the time and recruits all the time saying, hey, does Tuesday work for you? Or, oh, how about this time? No, I call them right on the button. If you book a time for 12 o'clock, I'm calling you right at 12 o'clock. If you don't answer the phone, I'm going to text you. I'm going to give you 5 minutes and then I'm done with you. It comes down to it. You've got to, I need, and sometimes don't answer the phone. That saves me time, but at the same time, if they don't answer the phone, that's a block of time that I missed out from somebody that actually was ready to talk. Maybe I missed that person. Maybe they saw my scheduler and it was booked out 2 days and they don't want to wait 2 days. So they go and they go onto another website, or they find another, or they call the office directly. And, we're here to provide the value to bridge the gap between, the recruit and the office. And we're kind of in the middle there to provide that value. And if you can get in the middle and kind of position yourself between, it could take that load off the office, because they're getting bombarded by every Tom, Dick, and Harry wanting to, come and interview. And you've got to make sure that you're only sending qualified people to meet with your team leader or your ATL, because you don't want to say, hey, my taxi driver says he wants to be a real estate agent. He's not even a resident. He doesn't have his license, but he's expecting your call and wants to meet on Monday. Don't do that. You want to make sure that you're sending people that are motivated. And if you want, I've got my bot, my Willie bot. I've got a scheduling link. I can kind of send it. I can find a way to send it to everybody, and feel free to go in there and play with it. I show a picture of my family and say, hey, this is me. This is who you're talking to. I'm here to share with you the benefits of this company. Now let's get down to business. What's your email? Are you licensed in this state? Are you current on all your CE? Are you ready to be full-time in this business? Do you know anybody with us? Are you financially prepared? They answer yes to that. Doors open. They can book a time on my scheduler. Before that, you talk to, I think the maximum amount of times when I was working, I could talk to 5 people a day. That was kind of overwhelming. You're saying the same thing 5 times, and your voice is pretty much toast after the end of the day. And sometimes you're on a call and you're going, did I say that already? Am I going to say the same thing twice to the same person? And so so I limited myself, but there was a lot of times I do those calls, and they would either know somebody, they were part-timers, they weren't, or they didn't have their license and said they did, just to book the appointment time to talk with me. So that decreased my productivity in doing what I'm supposed to do, which is qualify the right people and get them to the office. So if I look at my numbers in the previous years where I was, talking to, let's say that I think my best year, was like, I talked to 476 people and I converted 176. I don't know the numbers on that, but all I know is what I'm doing now is I'm talking to fewer people and I'm converting at a higher level.
And this is mostly because of that scheduler. How is Acuity spelled?
Acuity.
Okay.
And it's free. I haven't paid for it ever.
I thought maybe it was Q, like the Q.
No, Acuity, Acuity, and you can even add knockout questions. I used to use the knockout questions on there. So when they went to book the time, you could actually say, hey, are you licensed? And add those knockout questions there. But then when I saw the Kelly bot come out, I said, well, you know what? I want to create a little bot. Maybe I can attract people to my website and have them talk to the bot, answer a lot of questions that maybe will alleviate some of the back and forth that I normally get to in a lot of conversations. Acuity, Acuity.
Brent, where is that bot at? Is it on your website?
He's on my website. He's also, I can just send out a link to it. The bot is called Instabot, instabot.io. And it's not cheap. It's $150 a month to use this bot. And I can run multiple bots and have them on different pages. I have bots I call them my girls that do recruiting for me. They don't even have to deal with the recruit in setting out the email. I send the email out on their behalf with their scheduling bot. And then if they get through that, then they book the appointment. So all they're really doing is going in and seeing what appointments they have for that day and making the calls and setting them up with a team leader. So I think, because I wanted to provide the easiest solution for them to get more qualified people on the phone. And so the Instabot, I mean, it's been a lifesaver, because it's allowed me to, weed out people that I shouldn't be talking to. And that increases my productivity. So that's why I say this year, I'm talking to a ton of people, because there's a lot more opportunity, but at the same time, I'm having better conversion rates, because I'm not wasting my time sending somebody to an office that doesn't tell me up front that their mother-in-law works for Keller Williams.
You said you'll send out the bot. I'd love to see it.
Yeah. Where would I send it? You want me to send it in this, how do I send it? Madeline?
Is it
She's still there? It's a link. Do you want me to send it to Madeline, or do I need to send it to somebody, or I'd have to, or if you want to, is there any way that the leadership could copy me on an email and I could send them out? I could send out everything and y'all could see it.
We can do that. You want to send it to me?
Yeah. And and I've got this is Madeline talking, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Madeline, I'll email you over the scheduling link. And of course, if y'all want to check out my website, and feel free to go through the process. Don't set up a time to talk with me. You already know somebody at Keller Williams, but you can go through the whole process. And to be honest, some people don't like it, and that's okay. I remember I had a gentleman go to it, and you can see when somebody engages the bot. You can see how far they go. And this guy gets to it. And so the first question it's like, hey, I'm Willie. I'm your career bot. I'm here to get you set up with a local career consultant to share more with you about our company. First, meet Brent and his family. Aren't they cute, adorable, or precious? They have to choose one of those options to proceed with the bot. Because I'm trying to humanize myself as being somebody real that they can talk to, versus just somebody that's in a corporate office doing whatever. Hey, this is me. This is my kid. This is my wife. This is me. And this guy responds back to the email and he goes, I don't do precious, adorable, or darling. And I'm like, nope, no problem. See you later. Because that's the thing. You don't have to talk to everybody. You don't have to. I mean, if people don't want to jump through your hoops and they go sign up with somebody else, guess what? There's somebody there that's going to come behind them that's going to take their place. So when you can create a system that keeps your pipeline full of people that are willing to do the things that you're asking them to do, it's a win-win, because you're not dealing with people who aren't focused on that don't value what you value. And, I get people saying, oh, I don't want to talk to the bot. And I'm like, okay, well, here's the link to the local office. We hope to see you part of the KW family very soon. And that's it. I mean, I want them to get to the office, but I'm not going to be the one driving you there, because if you're not willing to like, it's like, I think Aaron said it one time in one of his one of his calls. It's like, you know what? There's plenty. You can't fill out a contact form, or you can't respond to an email. Then chances are you're probably not going to be a good fit for our company if you can't even respond to an email or follow technology. And so I kind of piggybacked on that idea and said, you know what? I'll get mine. There's plenty of them out there. Like I said, 60,000 people a year are joining this company. That's a lot of people. So for us just to get one little bitty tiny sliver of it is great. So who's going to go out and download the list on the Trek website?
I might do that.
Do it, because you'll see there's hundreds or thousands of people on there. And if that's your gig, go for it, because there's a ton of people on there and pretty much every person that I talk to is on that list. But I'm not going out chasing them because I want them to find me. So if you go out and you be proactive and you find those people and you can engage them and get them to trust you, and you can say, hey, well, I'm here to help you make a decision for your business. Well, my mindset is, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're just getting their license to be an investor or their mom works for Keller Williams and they're already joining anyway. So it might take a few more hurdles to jump through to secure more sponsorships in that realm. But it's definitely a doable thing to reach out to those people. And of course, focus on your local city, your local market center area, help grow that Katy office. Because isn't there another Katy office just around the corner? And it's not anywhere near the profitability of your office.
That is
right?
correct.
That is correct. And be aware of that. All that information is online. You can download a list of the top producing offices in this company. And if you see an office, and don't get me wrong, I love Al over there at the other Katy office. He's great people. And I'll send him an office. I'll send him leads. And I haven't in a while just because I haven't generated a lot of leads there for some reason. But if I have an agent that's equidistant between a top producing office and one that maybe isn't producing as well, I want to give the best opportunity for success for the recruit. So I'm going to send them to the one that's performing better, because that's where they're going to get a very well-oiled machine of training and systems and support and things that are going to help them be successful.
Mary?
Madeline?
Do you have anything to say?
So I can email you that information, but I'm still game to chat more if anybody has any questions. But if not, hey, it's been fun. I love doing this, and I love the opportunity to be able to hopefully inspire some of your agents to really take control of this company. I mean, we all have a vested interest in growing it, and only 30% of us participate in profit share. So let's raise that number and make us even more profitable. I mean, how much have we profit shared this year? Like 125 million or something ridiculous in the middle of a pandemic? No other company's doing that.
All right, everyone. Well, if no one has any more questions, Brent, thank you so much. We do appreciate your time and everything you've shared with us. Mary, do you have anything you want to add?
No, thank you so much, Brent, for sharing this knowledge and value. We got an extra 20 minutes out of you, so that was super exciting. And
no worries, I loved it.
And of course, we'll definitely take any of your referrals for recruits if you have.
Yes, and trust me, I'm always looking. I'm always trying to find them, and I might have a little competition on my hands with the people on this call. But hey, you know what? When there's plenty for all of us, and if we can all keep driving them there, you're going to be more profitable, and that's going to give all our agents more opportunity to succeed, and more profit sharing.
Absolutely.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for the time. I enjoyed it, and hopefully I was able to excite you about what this company offers and give you some tips on how to be as efficient as you can to grow this company.
All right. Thank you, Brent.
Awesome. Y'all have a great evening.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. I'll email over that information now, Madeline.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.